hammer, javelin, weight throw. That's pretty much my extent of what I coach. I watch the other things, but I'm not as dangerous as the other coaches are in them. But then I've been here for going on 5 years. This would have been my 4th year.
So the last thing that Coach Hulst kind of led off with or ended with was talking about culture, and that's one of our big pieces. And when he and I took over the program last season, the biggest thing that we wanted to try to talk about and try to do is unity. That's one thing that we found has been key to our success, is building that positive team culture. We're not saying that it was bad before we got here, but we said we wanted to try to make it better. We wanted to make it feel like it was all one unit and not separate factions. So when you're a part of this program, it's not that you're just a thrower or you're just a sprinter or you're just a jumper or a distance runner or a steeplechase. It doesn't matter what you do. It just matters that you're a Mustang. And we've been hammering that part for the better part of the 3 years that Coach Hulst and I have been head coaches. So that's one thing that we look for when we get into recruiting is, how do you fit within our culture? Talent is wonderful and great, and it can obviously take you a long way, but you can't go as far with just talent. You need to be able to fit into the system. Excuse me, my allergies are kicking in. But you got to be able to fit into the system, and we have to be able to move together. We can't just move one way and just be following along from our star horse. I'll let Coach Hulst tell a story. When we were out in Washington, for cross-country nationals, we were actually at Nike headquarters and talked to one of the vice presidents out there, and he had a really good anecdote about what teamwork and what culture for a program and what businesses are looking for. So I'll let Coach Hulst kind of tell that.
So we got, a special tour of Nike, and like I said, it's the VP of, he works really with running shoe sales of shoes that are made, sold at $100 or less. So that's what he kind of oversees. But, we have obviously kids, college student athletes want to know what it takes to work at Nike. So they asked, and he said, you can have, it doesn't matter the degree that you come out of college with here. It matters about how you fit the team that he oversees. It's all about, he's like he said, we can teach you the things that you need to know in the work side of this, but we can't teach you how to fit and work with people of different backgrounds. So that's really a big part of what we want is we want a diverse group on our team, where you get the opportunities to work with people from different backgrounds, so that, again, you're set up for that success after. You're set up to work at those opportunities like Nike or wherever your dream is. So you have those experiences and hey, this person has a different background. They have maybe a different mindset, but I know how to work with them to get, we share the same vision and the same end goal. And that's the biggest thing that, he talked about. And obviously that's a huge part of what we're about here.
Yep. So it's a family thing. We always say that it's deeper than track. That's one of our mottos around here. Deeper than running, deeper than throwing. It's deeper than that. It's about connecting and building a culture. You will perform your best, and we've seen it when you have a whole team behind you. It's one thing when I've seen throwers in the ring, they pop a good one when people are around watching and cheering them on. I've seen jumpers who they pop a big one when they got that support. When you got a 3K or 5K, shoot, even a 10K, going around the track as many times as you do, when you have people at every single corner running back and forth and cheering for you, that's just an extra boost. And as coaches, we love to see that. And it warms my heart as a coach to know that we care about each other deeper than what the performances are. We care about the success totality of our program and team. And it carries past just that. Once you're good here, it also carries out into the classroom too. And I'll let Coach Hulst kind of talk about some of the academic success that we've had over the past 3 seasons too.
Yeah. So obviously beyond the culture, we're looking for recruits that take their academics seriously. That's your number one reason to come to college and should be. And we're here to make sure that is your number one priority, that athletics is second to that. our goal is always to be an all academic team. We've been that since we've been here. At nationals for cross country this fall, all 8 of our student athletes that were there were academic All-Americans. So for us, success in the classroom goes hand in hand with success on the track and in the field. It has to be your priority. Most of us are not going to be going pro out of here, unfortunately. Obviously, hopefully we have those people that are able to do some post-collegiate stuff. But the majority, we're trying to set you up for a job, and we're using athletics, we're using our sport to teach you things that you can carry over into that job and career and family life. The last, I believe it's at least 3 semesters that I've been able to go back and count, we've had anywhere between 32 to 35 each semester make the dean's list. That's 3.6 GPA or better for the semester. When you look at the academic side and we're taking serious majors here, that's huge. And I think that's a big reason why we've seen, the athletic success as well. My college coaches always had a saying that happy runners are fast runners. So if you're struggling in the classroom, usually that stress and that anxiety is going to carry over into your sport. So the more we can help you stay focused in the classroom, the better you're going to perform for us, and for yourself as well. And so we want you to really come in with the idea that you are here for academics. We're here to support you. This is for a lot of recruits. This is going to be, you're going to have to take on a big responsibility in that. Mom and dad aren't going to be there to wake you up in the morning to get you to class. We're not going to be there to wake you up and get you to class. We're going to be on you and check in. If you're not, and your professors are definitely going to let us know if you're not going to class. But we're also going to be there to say, hey, if you're missing assignments or anything like that, what can we do to support you? What plan can we help implement for you, and checks and things? You're not going to be in it here alone. I think one of the best things that we have here are the people. Not just our coaching staff, but the people on campus. Our faculty mentor for the team, he's met with our student athletes at McDonald's to help them prepare for their grad school application. Like I said, we're here to teach you things that hopefully carry over. I had a senior that's graduating here in May, and she had a job interview with basically her dream job out in Colorado Springs coming up, and we were talking about it over the phone over spring break, and she was nervous, and I said, it's good to be nervous because that means you care. But the waiting game, the beforehand is always nerve-wracking. But just like a race, when that gun goes off, when that interview starts off, you know exactly what to do and you'll be fine. And she nailed that interview and got a job at her dream job. So, we're here to make sure that we can help correlate those things for you. And so that, again, the bigger picture is we want you to be the best you can be in the classroom, because that will make you a better employee down the road, better teammate, coworker, and hopefully community contributor too.
And just to carry off on that, the whole purpose is to make you the best, and that's what we're trying to do. It's not just making you the best. We're trying to make you the best version of you possible. That's our job as coaches, is to help you get a degree, to help you become a better son, a better daughter, a better girlfriend, a better boyfriend, a better son, whatever it is that we can do, whatever nugget that we have, that's our job. I am fairly confident with all of our abilities as coaches to make you great athletes. But if we can't get a degree, if we don't all sit at the U.S. Cellular Center for your graduation and watch you get a degree, if we can't get you that, then, we're just trash coaches then, if that's the case, because our whole purpose is to make you the best you possible. And we will do everything that we can to make that a possibility, make that a dream. And it doesn't just go with us, like Coach Hulst was saying. the whole school is tuned for that. Everywhere you turn around, there's a safeguard for your success. I tell people all the time, you have to try to fail here to actually fail. That you would have to literally not communicate with professors, with us, with your academic advisors or anything like that for you to fail and fall apart, because there's going to be so many safeguards. If you don't go to class, we'll know, which is a good and a bad thing. It's also, it's a bad thing because you feel like somebody's always on your case, but it's a good thing to know that you have that support no matter what happens. I've been in the middle of a workout where a professor has emailed me and said, hey, I need you to check up on this student athlete. And I was right there and able to do that. And that's just for your betterment. One other thing that we do is we are extremely flexible around our academic schedule. We will hold most of the coaches, especially the coaches that we have on the video, we'll have multiple practice sessions every single day, almost every single day, to accommodate for class conflicts. So our sport will never take precedence over your academics. If you've got a lab that ends at 4:30, if you've got night class that starts at 5:30, whatever it is in your academic schedule that comes up, we will work around that. I've had workouts where I come in at 9, I come in at 10, and then I have one at 3. I know that Coach Hulst has had workouts where he's got 5 or 6 workouts in a day to make sure that our athletes can stay on top of things in the classroom and that they don't have to worry about, oh, well, I've got practice, so I can't come. No, that's not the case at all, and it never will be. It's a rationale for our schedule as well. All of our meets are held on the weekends. So we never really miss class for our track meets, except for conference and nationals, which that happens. But for the most part, professors are really easy to work with, especially for us, because we're not traveling a long way, or we're not traveling during the week for our competitions. And the other great thing too is most of our meets are relatively local. So they're about a 2-hour radius of Cedar Rapids that we can leave on Saturday and we can come back on Saturday. So that way you never have to miss out on academics. You never have to worry about study time or anything like that. So that's one of the big things that we try to push here is you're a student athlete, and that's the name of the game here.
Yeah, I think, like Coach Stevenson has said there, our goal is to make you the best you can be. Not everyone is going to be an All-American. Not everyone is going to, run at conference or make conference or, get to nationals. But for us, it takes the entire team being on the same page, pushing for that same goal together. We have a saying within our team that, we need to be a bottom-up team, meaning our last person, our last JV person is as important to our team goals as our number 1, number 2, as our top people are. Because if our JV people come in with the right attitude, with the right work ethic, pushing everyone forward, we're going to go a lot further than relying on 1, 2, and 3 to pull everyone along. That's a lot more work. That creates a lot more culture problems. But if those people that, typically don't get all the glory come in with that right attitude, no one's got an excuse not to work hard every day and to be the best that they can be. And again, I mean, it's just so much more fun to be pushing forward and know that, every person on our team has value. I think, when we have injured athletes, I think one of the biggest things we can do is try to help them find value in contributing to the team yet. Because while we love to say injuries don't happen, they do happen in our sport. No matter how good a coaches you are, they're going to happen when you have a team. But we need to create value in those opportunities because again, when we do that, we're going to go a lot further. And I think in staying more invested individually as well. So, I think a lot of that, I mean, just in the last 3 years, we've had 8 All-Americans. Last year, the 2018 to 19 year, we had 24 school records as a program. I mean, that's all event areas. We haven't done the math yet with everything going on what school records numbers were broken this year. But some of those 24 were broken again. So, and a lot of them weren't just broken, they were smashed. And, for a program that's been around for since 1992 to have 24 school records in one academic year is pretty phenomenal. And, like we said, I don't think that has to do with the workouts. That has to do with the buy-in and the culture, and the fight to compete for each other. We're not here for you guys to compete for us. We're here for you, to help you guys towards your goals. So, that's Coach Stevens has that saying that, this is your ship. We're just here to guide you. You're driving the train. We're here to guide you where you want to go. So you're not here to do anything that, for us coaches, we're here to get you where you want to go.
Exactly. And then I think there's one other thing too. Last fall, we were talking about academics a little bit and how much we push for that. Our teams are above 3.0 as a whole. If we look at the women, what do they, Coach Hulst? Like 3.
Around 3.4.
3.4. Men were 3.15 or 17, something like that. Last semester, we had out of our 85 student athletes or so that we have on our roster, 34 of them were on the dean's list. So we work hard to be great in all aspects, both in the classroom and then outside of the classroom. That's what we're trying to do. I can't stress that part enough, is that's where our focus lies. We're going to be great if we can take care of business on all different areas. And that's what makes up our program, and that's what we stress as coaches the most. One thing that we want to do too is we've talked at you all for quite a bit. So we want to open this up for questions. Everybody's on mute. So if you have a question, feel free to unmute and then ask it, and we'll do our best to kind of answer your questions. Otherwise, we can keep talking because we do this all day, every day. We love to talk running and track and field and all that good stuff. So we can talk your ear off if we need to. Don't all hit unmute at once, though.
All right. I got a question.
Yeah.
I don't know how often you guys recruit Texas athletes, but with us, it doesn't look like our juniors or seniors are going to get their SAT scores. That's kind of our state testing here. How are you guys working around the SAT and SAT scores not being available?
Well, we have an admissions counselor on here too. So, hey, Eric, Ryan, you want to jump in?
Awesome. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Eric. I'm an assistant director of admissions at Mount Mercy. Also a 2016 alum of the program as well. But kind of what we're using now, since no one can do any of the ACT, SAT testing, we have went to a test optional admissions standard for the rest of this year. So for any student that has at least a cumulative GPA of a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale, we will automatically accept. Anybody below those standards, we will then ask for supporting documents. So personal statements, letter of recommendations, things like that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And then I know also with the NAI, to be eligible when you come in, you have to have 2 of 3 standards, 2.0 GPA, and then a test score requirement. And then the third option is be in the top 50% of your graduating class. So obviously, again, without that test option, that kind of potentially creates some problems right now. And the NAI is looking at they understand that's right now. And they're hopefully going to be coming out with a solution to get around that soon. So we had just gotten an email on Friday saying they're acknowledging that that's an issue, and that they hope to come up with something that's fair to get around that right now.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it.
And if you don't feel comfortable talking in front of everyone too, there is the chat box to ask a question if you have one too. Yeah, I mean, as if someone wants to jump in, I think our main goal out of this was to be able to, talk a little bit about our program. But also hopefully, this does open up to, if you like what you hear and, haven't talked to us, I mean, we want to set up one-on-one conversations as well and learn more about, the recruits and obviously, open the door, because we know a lot of athletes missed their season and missed an opportunity to really get on radar. So, we are recruiting very heavily yet and have plenty of spots. So, we'd love to talk. So, no questions? Well, yeah, I think, one thing we can talk about, Coach Stevens is there. I'm in my guest bedroom, so I don't have anything to show off. But the fitness center that he is in is brand new. It was opened up in June. I think that's something that, again, Mount Mercy has gone all in on supporting our student athletes. That building that he's in was an empty warehouse where the ceiling literally was falling down. We used it in the back to work out in with 80 meters of rubber surface before that. So now it's a brand new fitness center with weights. There is about 55 meters of track. And there's batting cages, stuff like that in there in the athletic training room. Right across the street from there is our outdoor complex, a new baseball field, track, soccer, and softball field that was just finished in September 2017. And then we have a national caliber cross country course as well. We hosted NAI Nationals in 2018, and we're actually going to host them again this fall. So the fact that the school has invested that much specifically just for our sport alone is phenomenal. And I think a really exciting thing to be a part of here.
I saw that we had one question asked about just practice schedule. So that's a really good question about how we try to unify things like that. Most of our practices take place between 4 and 6 p.m. So we have a 2-hour window for practice, not saying that we always use that window, that full 2 hours, but we just need that window aside to try to get in the best part of workouts. Each coach also will kind of flex their schedule a little bit. I know that Coach Sick holds practice a little bit early. Sometimes he'll go at 3:30. The winter time, Coach Hulst will go a little bit early at 3 or 3:30 to try to beat the sunlight or beat the darkness so he can still have some sunlight to train in. And then we always try to schedule workouts where you can be with other people, so it's not just you. One-on-one workouts are great sometimes to do, so we can really focus on form and technique and do a little bit of mechanical things. But there's also a time that we have to schedule we will get people in there with you, because it's definitely tough to train one-on-one. I get that, to not have that support when you're trying to run miles by yourself, or you're trying to throw by yourself or jump by yourself. So we always try to schedule somebody to be there with you, but at times that's not always possible. But like I said earlier, we definitely work around your schedule to get in what we can. One thing that we started doing as well too, getting back to like a little bit of the culture, is every week we have a team meeting, a total team meeting with distance runners, throwers, jumpers, sprinters, hurdlers, all of them coming together as one, so we can talk about the previous meet. We can talk about how things are going to shape up for the upcoming meet. We also started doing athlete of the meet, so we got t-shirts that we hand out, so we can just start talking about the successes that we have. So we always try to find time to get everybody together at once, but we also know that isn't possible all the time. Other coaches, you can jump in if I didn't cover stuff well enough in that explanation.
Yeah, I think the biggest is just that for the most part, there's usually going to be at least one other person that has a similar class conflict. And whether they're going to be able to train, at the same ability or not, but at least they're going to be out there at the same time. And, especially on workout days, that's the beauty, is that we're going to flex and be there and have a coach available to monitor and make sure that, we're getting through with the right purpose of that workout.
How often do you guys lift during the season?
Which event group?
Everybody, do you guys host mandatory lifting sessions so many days a week, or how does that work?
Each coach is a little bit different in what they do for weights. What do you guys do?
So for us, it just kind of depends on where we're at in the season. When we're in preseason, we'll lift about 4 days a week, and I kind of focus on hypertrophy lifting and trying to get your muscle fibers broken down so we can build them back up again. So during the preseason, we'll lift Monday, Tuesday. We'll do flexibility and balance on Wednesday. Then we'll pick up lifting on Thursday, Friday. During the season, I back it down to 3 days a week, and then we do percentage lifting. So depending on where we're going for a meet or where we're at in the year, I adjust the percentages accordingly. So as we get closer to conference season or conference, I'll put the percentages at 70% or whatever. So we work on explosiveness and speed. And then once indoor conference is done, depending if you made nationals or not, I bump them up back to 85 to 80, 85, 90% so we can work on strength. But during season, indoor and outdoor, we just do 3 days a week for lifting.
And Sick is the throws coach, so that's what the throwers do. And then Coach Hulst, what do you guys do?
We on the distance side, we'll lift twice a week. For us, it's Tuesday, Thursdays, all the way through. And then we're doing core work every day as well. So, 6 days a week, we've got core, basically abs, push-ups, type stuff like that. But then we add in weights those 2 days a week. Again, for us, a lot of it is, body weight or more just tone stuff, so that we're stronger in the late stages of a longer race. But again, our SMD, our short middle distance group, that's more of a 400 to 800 group. We'll mix in a little bit more power in there, and typically kind of have that side of it go with Coach Stevens with the sprint side, because they need more explosiveness for those events. So that's kind of pretty general on our end, but the consistency part is big for the distance group.
And for the sprinters, jumpers, and hurdlers, we typically lift in the weight room 2 days out of the week. So we have 2 high-intensity days, one on Monday we work on blocks and acceleration, and one on Wednesday where we work on a lot of our top-end speed, a lot of our full-on velocity work. So those are our 2 primary lifting days. I keep my lifts pretty simple. We only really do the lifts that target the muscles that we just worked out on the track. So it's pretty specific. So a lot of power cleans, a lot of deadlifting, a lot of squats, bench press, and incline. I'm not a very complicated coach when it comes down to lifting, because we're not power lifters or bodybuilders or anything like that. We're trying to support whatever muscles are in the events that we do. So I keep it pretty simple on that. We have a question about lifting on your own outside. That's a little bit dicey. We try to limit that as much as possible, and here's the reason why. Every year we sit down and we come up with our training plan, and once we come up with our training plan, the way that we run it, as far as the running or the throwing or anything else, then we backfill that with the lifting to support that. So if you're on the outside and you're doing a bunch of other lifts that we don't necessarily know about, that could actually hurt what you're trying to do out on the track or in the throwing sector or anywhere else like that. So as long as we're in communication, we need to talk about those things, because there's a rhyme and a reason for why we put together workouts the way that we do, to make sure that we can get the best responses. We always look at the season, and we're writing for a specific part of the season. So if we're doing something really light and you're doing something really heavy, sometimes that doesn't always work out. So we try to sit down and talk about what we're doing, and so we can set you up for success. So
I see we have another question about other sports and nursing. I know other sports do are somewhat flexible. I would say they don't have the ability to be as flexible as ours as a real team sport like basketball, anything like that. It's really hard to set up different practices and have that same success or same ability. Can't have the team chemistry that you need on that end. As far as the nursing part goes, it feels like half our team is nursing students, so that's very doable to do here. I mean, we're a nursing school. I mean, that's our number one major. And really, yeah, it seems like half our team is in the nursing, and so it's really doable. I mean, they're super successful in the classroom and on the team, and I think for us, especially when you're in nursing or something like that, and you get into your clinical time, that's something that we take into account big time, because if you're 12-hour clinical and that's our hard workout day, we're going to be irresponsible to put you through that hard workout day when you've spent that time. So we're going to flex your schedule a bit to get around that. And I think that's been a reason why that group is especially successful in the classroom and on the team as well. So those are very doable on our end.
Going back to the workouts, as far as I saw a question about doing extra workout on your own, well, that kind of goes along with like the lifting and stuff like that. It's kind of a yes and no type of thing. It depends on what you're doing. If you're talking, and it depends on what coach you're kind of talking to. If you're talking about doing extra push-ups, sit-ups, and body weight stuff, I always tell my athletes you can do that all day long till you're blue in the face. If you were talking about going and saying, hey, I want to do a hard lifting workout, I tend to say no to that because it might interfere with the training plan that we have going on. So that's our kind of idea. But the lines of communication always have to be open. When we always have that, we have an open door policy. Like I said, we love talking training. We love talking the mythology, or I just mispronounced that word, but it's all good. Why we do what we do. So we love to sit down and talk with our athletes about that. So it's kind of a yes and no thing about getting extra workouts on your own. And each coach will kind of have that. Sometimes I do have my sprinters do an extra workout because they need to get it in. And Coach Hulst might have 2-a-days for the athletes who can handle 2-a-days. And Sick might have specific workouts that he can put his athletes through if they need that extra work. So like I said, it's kind of a yes and no, and it just kind of depends on the communication that we have.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I've had athletes that, like to swim on Sundays, kind of flush the week out. Again, as long as I know about it, or they like to go on a bike ride on Sunday, or, a couple bike rides in the morning during the week, as long as I know about that kind of thing, and then I can flex my training a bit. But if I don't know about it and I have a plan of increasing load when they're already doing more than I know, then that's when we run into problems. But like Coach said, the communication has to be a two-way street here for us to help you get where you want to go. I heard a high school coach here say one time that, athletes need to view the coach as the chef, as the cook, that we're putting all the ingredients in the pot we know the recipe. We're putting the ingredients in the pot to make the dish that we know is going to be good. But if we turn our back and you add something in that we don't know about, then it's not going to taste very good. So if you're adding in stuff when our backs turn, then the result isn't going to be what you want it to be. But again, if we know about it, then we can kind of flex some of those things and make it taste real good.
I have a mac and cheese analogy that goes with that, but I won't do it right now because I love mac and cheese.
He's a child.
What's that?
None.
Did you call me a child?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see another question talking about recruiting and JV team and all of that. Really how that works out is if you have a passion for competing in track and field and cross country, if you have the mentality that you want to come in and get better every single day and push to be your best, those are the type of people we want on our team. It's not all about performances for us. We want people We want good people who want to push to become better every single day. That's who we want on our team. And those are the people that we're going to recruit. So it doesn't matter if you're a high school All-American or if you've done track in middle school, you took high school off and you want to do it again. We just want good people who want to push to be better every single day on our squads. And the great thing about Mount Mercy, we try to make college and schooling as affordable as possible. So every student that's at Mount Mercy gets some type of scholarship. And if you're on the cross country and track and field team, you're going to get some type of scholarship. We obviously don't know numbers until we sit down and talk, but that's always on the table.
Yep. And I mean, and to be very upfront, like the biggest scholarship for the most part is going to be based on academics here. So that's where the majority of the scholarship's going to come from. But we are able to stack athletic. Like Coach Steven said, if we're recruiting you, we're going to offer you some type of athletic scholarship here. And then we're able to also, Mount Mercy has other additional scholarships that can stack on. So, we always say don't get scared away by a sticker price, because there are ways to package things. Every school has a sticker price, and that's not no one ever pays what that sticker price is. Especially here, there's little scholarships, little grants that are able to tack on. For the 2021 class, there's going to be scholarship days that, you can be invited to. If you can't make it, you can do it by phone. That those are little scholarships to add on, and things like that. So, for us, like, our application's free and it takes like 10 minutes to do. So if you're interested, like, I always say, do it, because there's no harm, no foul, and you're always going to get as much information as you can get. And, hopefully it makes things look even better. But we also understand Mount Mercy isn't going to be the fit for everyone. And we want you to let us know that. But, if you're interested at all, we always say, let's go as far through the process as we can. And, hopefully, this ends up being a place that, you can call home for 4+ years.
I see there's a question about if an athlete on our team happens to get sick, just general illness or something like that. I'm not going to say that we baby our athletes here, but we try to make sure that you are in the best position possible, both mentally and physically, to compete and to practice. We are constantly, I spend probably 30 minutes to 45 minutes with our athletic trainers every single day, talking about fitness and making sure if you are sick, is there additional workouts that you can do or something like that. So we never try to put you in a position where you're going to compromise yourself. So if you're sick, I'd say 98% of the time we say, hey, stay home and take care of yourself and get better, and we'll get this training in a different time. We would much rather have you undertrained and have the ability to compete than overtrained and maxed out and you can't really compete or do anything. So your fitness is always on the top of our head. We just ask for communication. If you're not feeling well, we need to know that so we can adjust the workout. Maybe there's a different workout, an alternative workout that you can do while you're not feeling well or while you're injured or whatever's going on. There's an additional workout that you could do, or if it's better off that you just rest, then you can just rest. The great thing about our season, the college track and field season and cross country season, is it's long. We have time. Most of the time is of the essence and you need to get a bunch of stuff in. We don't have that problem where we can take our time and do a slow build into what we're trying to get out of it. So it's not 100% imperative that in November, if we're talking track and field, in November that we hit this super hard key workout. Well, we don't start competing until December and January. So yeah, it's okay to sit a day out. We much rather have you sit some time out and miss 1 or 2 days of training than let things fester on and then we end up missing months of meets and training and competition. I also see there's a question about cross country. I'm going to let Coach Hulst have that one. I could do it if he lets me, boss. I can talk.
I think as far as a base time, obviously, like I said, we're going to offer scholarship to everyone that we recruit that we feel fits our team culture. So that's our number one. Obviously, the faster the times, the bigger the scholarship potentially gets. But we're also going to take in that we need to know more history. If we see that, well, you've done this, but your training base has been pretty low, then we're going to take that into account. If we see like, hey, this person's going to add in a lot more leadership quality that we really need, then that's going to be taken into account in the scholarship amount as well. So it's hard to say exactly what the time, and I think it comes down to individual basis a little bit, getting more background, and seeing where our team is at the moment and what we've got going on. So personally, that's a conversation to have more one-on-one as far as what that kind of looks like. But again, the more background we get, really the better offer that we can give you.
Yeah. I see there's one question about rooming with other athletes and how you guys work that out. I'm actually going to ask Eric that question since he's in admissions and maybe he has a better insight of what we have on that. So Eric, what if they want to room with other athletes on the team? How do they work that out?
Yeah. So for this incoming year, obviously there's a housing application that we ask students to fill out. So how it works is if there's someone that you want to live specifically with, as long as you two request each other on those housing forms, you're guaranteed to live together. The residence hall that you request might not be there. It all depends on availability and everything, but you two will be paired up no matter what. So yeah, so if that's between two different runners on the team, or if you're just trying to live with another athlete, we do run a Facebook group for admitted students for them to join and get to know each other. Or if you've already submitted your housing form and you want to go and request somebody, we have access here in the admissions office to go and edit those housing applications too. So just really the key is just when you get it in, just get it in. And then if you do need to make changes to it or you need to request anybody, just like they've been talking about, just communicate with us as well, and we can go in and do that. But if you don't know of anybody, there's a living style survey that we have on that housing form, and that's what our residence life staff will use to match you up with somebody.
Cool.
I see the next question as far as graduating in December instead of May. We're recruiting, we bring people in at semester, so that doesn't really affect anything. And it won't affect eligibility either. Like no matter what, you'll get the 4 seasons of each sport. 4 seasons cross country, 4 seasons of indoor, and 4 seasons of outdoor to use. So, if you wanted to use that 4th year of cross country, then you would have to come back for basically you'd have to go through 4.5 years of school to get that done. So, but yeah, that doesn't affect, us recruiting or scholarship end of things at all.
And then on the next one, talking about meets, Coach Hulst, how many cross-country meets do you guys have in your season?
When we qualify for nationals, we get 7. So 6 through conference guaranteed, and then 7th with nationals. So that's pretty much standard at the college level is you go every other week. So, for this coming year, we're going to go back-to-back weekends to start. And then from then on, we go every other week. So that way we're rested. On the cross-country side, to get to nationals, a big part is being ranked. So we need to be rested and ready for every opportunity we compete at, so we can go all in and get into those rankings by the end of the season.
On the track and field side, we have 15 meets that we have, and that's spread from December until the first week of May. Most of the distance kids who run cross country won't compete with us in December because they're just finishing up their season. And then they'll start with us in mid-January when we get back from winter break. But primarily we go every single weekend, starting in mid-January through May. We'll get 3 or 4 weekends off. The difference in track meets and things like that in college is we don't necessarily load our athletes up. You might run 1 to 2 events at every single meet. We don't necessarily do a lot of tripling our athletes or quadrupling our athletes. We don't typically do that unless it's a conference meet and we're trying to score points and it's a very special circumstance. I said earlier that we try to take care of our bodies as much as possible, take care of your bodies as much as possible. And that also comes with meet load regulation. So we keep it at 2 because that's a big load to put on our bodies. At indoor conference this year, we had a chance to run an athlete in one more event that we would have probably scored. We probably would have won had we put her in that event, but her body and her health was of greater significance to us than just trying to score some points. So we always try to mitigate that and just go 1 or 2 events at every single meet. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Cool. If everybody has more specific questions, like I said, Coach Hulst, Coach Sick, and and even Eric Ryan are always available, either through text message or phone call or email, whatever you need, and we'll answer any question that you have. If you have questions about some more of the recruiting aspects of it, some more of our team and the successes that we've had, we'd love to sit down and talk with you a little bit more about all of that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we can let you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon here. But like I said, get a hold of us if you have questions, if you want to talk more. And then, we hope to talk more about joining the Mustang family.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming. Have a great day.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.